Hey,
Hello.
how's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good. We got another wonderful episode for you ladies and gents at home.
Yeah, as everybody can see, Ethix is not with us today. He has a Twitch thing that he's doing, a gaming Twitch game thing.
Yeah.
I don't fully understand Twitch, but that's what he's doing today.
What happens when
he's
you
got
spasm?
he signed up for like a 24-hour gaming thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a 24-hour period of him gaming.
Yeah.
And seeing him go, ah!
Yeah. Get super
great.
scared.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome. So those of you who also check him out on his other platforms, definitely watch that. I don't know if that is Twitch just live?
Yeah, Twitch
It's
is
not a recorded thing that you can go back to later.
yeah, Twitch is typically a live thing.
Okay.
Some users, I'm not sure if Ethix is doing it or not, record their live streams and then put them out on like YouTube.
Oh, okay. I know that he does little snippets of it.
Yeah,
And
there,
he
there will
does-
definitely be clips.
He does have some clips on TikTok. That's the one I was trying to think of. TikTok.
yep.
He does stuff on TikTok as well. He keeps talking about doing some stuff of us on TikTok.
Oh yeah, some podcast stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but if so, keep an eye out.
Yeah, bloopers would be fun.
Bloopers would be fun. Boy, do I have bloopers.
Yeah.
Quite a few of them. So for those of you watching on YouTube, seeing the video, you can kind of see there's some different stuff on the table today.
Yeah.
One of which is our horror cinema book here. Talks about the history of horror and stuff.
Which is pretty awesome.
Really cool.
Honestly.
The best part for me is the cover.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
really,
Of course. Yeah.
creature. Nothing beats the creature.
Right. And then next to that, I don't know how visible it is.
What do you got over there?
Here.
Well, if we go something like this, it becomes a little more visible.
It's actually a collaboration between Resident Evil and Cocolero. I think is what it's
That might be how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's South American liquor. So I mean, who knows how it's pronounced down there?
What's that next to it?
So that is a shot glass, and as you can see, it kind of looks like an hourglass. You're supposed to put your mixer below it, and then your liquor above it, and it creates this really cool effect. Especially if you use something carbonated. Right here,
Not sponsored.
not sponsored, and also I don't think I need to tell you what that is. Most people know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it creates a really cool effect with like carbonated drinks and stuff, where the bubbles will travel all the way up the hourglass.
It's really cool stuff.
Smooth stuff also. Honestly,
Very smooth.
honestly, the Red Bull bit more than the liquor
Than
did.
the liquor. Yeah, it's definitely got a really smooth taste to it. I had some the other day, mixed with 7-Up.
Okay, yeah.
7-Up in that in just a glass, and
Yeah. It
was smooth. No bite, nothing.
yeah, no worries about
flavor.
like forcing yourself to just sip it, like,
Yeah, so for any of you listening or watching, check it out. It's good stuff. Not a sponsor. We don't have sponsors. We're not cool kids like that.
yeah, unfortunately.
Maybe one day when we grow up. But good stuff though. I would recommend it, if you just looking for something new to try.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's got a decent taste to it. It's not bad. It
Yeah.
doesn't taste like crap. It's not going to burn going down. I mean,
There's no downsides. You should just do it.
some interesting names for drinks.
Yeah, for sure. Some of the
actually,
mixed drinks on their
I have,
website. Wow.
sorry.
goodness.
I actually have a screenshot of some of them because I want to make them.
Yeah.
This one's called Acid in the Wound. It's 2 ounces of that, 4 ounces of lemonade, and half an ounce of grenadine.
Right, which sounds delicious.
Sounds really good. Brain killer.
Which is an awesome name.
It's
Fantastic.
2 ounces of that. It's 4 ounces of pineapple juice or lemonade, your choice. An ounce of orange juice and an ounce of cream of coconut
The cream of
in a
coconut.
margarita glass.
The cream of coconut is a little weird, but I mean,
It is a little
sounds good.
weird, but and then of course there's the coca shot, which is just the drink chilled to zero.
The zero.
That's what it says. Served at sub-zero.
Ooh.
In a shot glass, and you just take it. And then, of course, the Coca bomb. I might not be pronouncing that.
Yeah, something like that.
COCA bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yeah, and you knew, being Resident Evil themed, that it had to have drink names like that.
Right, yeah.
I mean that's awesome.
Yeah, you can't turn it down.
Yeah.
Those of you who follow anything horror related on Facebook, I'm sure you have seen the advertisements on Facebook, because that's where we found it.
Yeah, that's where we found it.
And I'm glad that we found it, and I'm glad that I took a chance on it.
Yeah, right.
I would definitely be buying more.
You never know.
Yeah, I figured, at worst case scenario, we would drink maybe just a little bit out of the bottle, like what's missing now, and then it would just sit on a shelf because it would look cool because it says Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Infinite Darkness.
It is a beautiful green color as well.
Yes.
So, I mean,
kind of a toxic waste green, acidy color. Yeah.
Which is super on theme. That's awesome.
Yes, very cool.
Yeah. That's some of the exciting stuff we have this week.
Yeah. Wow. I had something and then it's gone. A couple different movies we watched. We watched one called...
Yeah, I don't watch movies, so this part's always interesting to me.
Fuck, I can't remember the name of it now. But it was a shark movie.
Oh, another shark movie.
It was really cool. Not like Sharknado. Okay.
Yeah,
not as good as Sharknado.
We're deriving
which
from
I'm
the
glad
main
that I
series.
was 100% correct that there are 6.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive that you pulled that out of a hat.
No, I think what's impressive is I pulled the space thing out of my ass, and you guys just totally bought on it. Like the whole sharks was helmets and everything.
Honestly, though, Sharknado at this point, I think you guys can just do anything.
Pretty much,
and people will believe it.
Oh,
People
hell
will
yeah.
be like, yeah, that's a movie.
But it was really cool. I wish I could remember it. It was like open water or something like that. Anyways.
Did it have drowning in it?
Some people drowned, yeah.
I hear people love drowning in movies.
This couple charter a plane to an island.
Okay.
As you do,
Jurassic Park
they get
started
there,
like that.
And they find a dead body that had washed up on the shore. Freaked out. They call the Coast Guard. They're like, we gotta get out of here. Well, they find a cell phone with the dead body that miraculously still worked.
Okay.
That dumbfounds me. I really want to know what kind of phone he's got that was allowed to be submerged in the ocean
For who knows how long.
and however deep either.
Yeah.
And still works, still had power, still lit up and everything. And they use his dead finger to unlock the phone.
Wouldn't it be like pruned? And so you wouldn't get an accurate fingerprint reading?
Yeah. And good of them to assume that he had the thumbprint lock, not just a password.
Yeah.
Because not everybody has that.
Something's a little suspicious there.
But anyways, they do that. They're scrolling through. They find pictures of him, of the dead body guy, and a girl on a boat. So now they're like, oh my God.
There's another one.
There's somebody out there. There's this girl out there on this boat. She might need help. We need to go find her.
Nobody thinks that.
That's exactly what they thought. I was on training with you. I'm like, fuck this.
It's a script
back.
in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, most people be like, nah, sorry, man.
Nah, fuck that. Like, sorry.
And so then they're like, well, we'll just fly around for about 45 minutes. If we see nothing, we'll call it.
So one of them is the pilot, or did they hire a pilot?
They hired a pilot.
Oh.
And the pilot's the one who said, we're going to fly around for about 40 minutes looking for this boat, trying to help them. It's one of those pontoon boat plane things.
Oh, okay, so you can land in the water.
Yeah. And so they're flying
Super
around.
Cool.
They see the boat. They land. They check it out. The boat's capsized.
Oh, great.
So now they're looking, find the dead body of the girl, and the shark attacks the plane pontoon.
Oh, yeah.
And then the plane naturally just sinks because of that.
I don't know how plane physics work.
I'm not sure either. My thoughts were, maybe people can correct us. I figured that there'd be at least enough time for them to start the plane and take off.
Yeah, I know it does take some time if he shut off the plane completely.
Yeah, it was completely shut off.
Yeah,
but
I know that it does take time for the propeller to. Like,
he was in the process of starting everything up because they were getting ready to take off.
Yeah, because they were like, "All right, we found it."
So then the rest of the movie, they're stuck on this fucking raft, just floating around in the ocean.
So it became the Titanic
with sharks.
But with sharks. Sounds more exciting.
Yeah, and one guy gets in a fight with the other guy, pushes him off the raft, and the shark eats him.
Oh, I totally thought you were going to say that they got in a fight with the shark.
Well, I mean, they've been fighting with the shark the whole thing, but, you know.
All right, but I was thinking like fist fight with the shark. Perfect.
One guy got in a knife fight with the shark.
Oh. Brought a shark to a knife fight?
Yeah, right? Why would you do that? Shark definitely has more reach. But in the end, it was good. And so that led us down this rabbit hole of like water-themed monster movie.
Okay, yeah. You guys rewatched Jaws?
No, we went with ones that we hadn't seen.
Okay, fair.
The one we didn't finish last night because it was like 1 a.m. We're like, fuck this road.
Yeah, that sounds about bedtime.
Rogue. It's about an saltwater alligator, crocodile, whatever they are. Crocodile? They're the saltwaters, right?
I love that you're coming to me for this information. I have no idea.
Well, it's a fucking animal. Come on.
It's an alligator.
I think it's a crocodile. I think they're the saltwater ones.
The crocagator.
And they're in the outback, of course, because everything wants to kill you down there.
Yeah, even the spiders.
Yeah, right? And we didn't make it all the way through that one. But the one we did make it through before that was called Freshwater.
Okay. Couldn't have been about sharks on that one.
No, it was about a alligator.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
An alligator that was found in the sewers in New York by this sheriff.
Okay.
And I'm sorry if none of you have seen it. I'm good. There's spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry, but there's no way to explain much more without
spoiling
a spoiler. But it is an older movie. It has been out for 4 years ish.
So if you haven't seen it, this is your warning.
Yeah. The sheriff finds it in the sewer.
Okay.
When he was a New York City cop. And from what I can surmise from it is that he's taken this thing to different locations, different counties, different towns, whatever, and has murdered people and fed them to this alligator. This alligator is his pet. It's an albino alligator, and like it's his pet. And so he moves to this small little town, and people start dying from alligator attacks. And one of the guys who gets eaten by an alligator is on a dock fishing. And it's so funny because the actor is from The Greasy Strangler. He is the Greasy Strangler.
That's pretty funny.
And so, you know, to see him in a different role.
Yeah.
Because I've actually never seen the actor in any other roles besides The Greasy Strangler.
Right.
That was pretty good. The CG of the alligator was so fucking bad. Like you guys think Sharknado's bad?
Sharknado's pretty bad.
This is worse.
Worse.
Okay. Way worse. So there's a scene where this girl's fighting off the alligator with a stick.
As you do.
And it's kind of like dancing around on the ground.
Uh-huh.
The CG is so bad that it literally looks like he's just floating on the ground. Just there's a bunch of leaves on the ground and everything. Nothing moves.
He's the zero friction alligator.
And then he like turns and takes off running, and the ground's not disturbed at all. Like nobody put in the effort to be like, yeah, maybe we should do like some CG footprints or something.
Animate
as he's
the leaves,
leaving.
do something.
Yeah, nothing.
Beautiful.
Yes, it was highly amusing. Wow.
Good. My goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen any new movies. I'm boring, so I don't really watch movies. I don't watch a whole lot of TV even. So
yeah, I get that.
Every time we come together, there's always a new movie for him to tell me about. Because I definitely haven't seen it. And if I haven't seen it, hey, maybe some of you haven't seen it.
They probably haven't.
From the sounds of it, it's kind of bad. But if you like bad movies, and I know there's a lot of people out there that like bad movies.
B movies are
Yeah, they're a popular thing.
This was even more like a C-rated movie, not even a B-rated. Like,
oh God, we haven't even made it into B rating.
Yeah, but it's still good. It's worth a laugh, you know. Get yourself some Resident Evil drink there.
Yeah, there you go.
Mix it up and watch this fake CG alligator dance around on leaves.
That's good. That's good.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So that's about all I got.
Yeah.
So
you don't have a fact of the week, maybe?
I was gonna say, if you're ready, we're gonna move on into all right. So this week's horror fact of the week is Phantasm.
Never heard of it.
I figured as much. It's an older movie, classic. Phantasm is one of those classic horrors that has built up a huge cult following over the years and remains very popular with the fans to this day. With the tall man played directly by Angus Scrimm and the infamous silver balls that fly through the air before burrowing people's brains out, there's a lot for horror fans to love here. The first Phantasm film is now 40 years old. So, what better time to look back at this classic with some facts you may not have known? The idea for the film was taken from one of the director's dreams. The plot to Phantasm started in a dream that Coscarelli had, in which he was chased endlessly by silver spheres down marble corridors, the spheres with the intent of piercing his head with a needle. All of the sphere attacks were filmed in reverse. It wasn't just the spheres flying that was filmed in reverse, but the spheres attached to someone's face. This was filmed by sticking it to their face, then pulling it off and playing the shot in reverse on the screen. To keep production costs down, Coscarelli rented the filming equipment rather than buying it. And he always rented it on a Friday, returning it on a Monday, so that way he only had to pay for one day's worth of rent, but he was able to use the equipment all weekend.
That guy sounds like he is a great money manager.
Right? I mean, come on, that's a genius right there. I mean, that's anytime you rent any sort of equipment, that's what you do. If you're smart, you rent it on a Friday, and then you get it all the way through the weekend for one day.
I didn't know that I didn't know that that's how that worked, honestly. I figured that they would charge you for the days in between.
No, so I've rented some equipment before through different home projects and stuff, and if you rent it, like the one rental place close to us, I think is open on Saturday. So if you rent it on Saturday, get there early in the morning, you rent it, you pay for that day's worth of rent, but you don't have to return it till Monday.
That's
because they're not open Sunday.
Yeah, right.
So, and interesting to me that they filmed the spheres scenes in reverse.
In reverse. Can we talk about this dude's like nightmare? He was talking about how he was chased by silver balls with the intent of them sticking him with needles
in his head, piercing his head with a needle. Yes.
How do the balls have needles?
Okay, so I don't know if you saw the pictures or not.
Did see some of them.
Okay, go ahead and load them back up.
Okay.
And as we're talking about this, one of the pictures should pop up with a sphere. So that's Angus, and he was holding the sphere. These spheres have, like right there, you can see they have stuff that comes out of them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell in the photo.
I know these photos aren't the greatest because of size-wise. I have to be able to fit me into the frame.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay.
So that's how.
So they like open up and they have like spikes.
Some have drills.
They have variety.
Yes, there's a variety. One of them looks like One of them, I remember the scene in the movie. To me, it just reminds me of like a juicer. It has a drill.
Yeah.
And it sticks to this guy's forehead, and the drill starts going, and then a hole opens up in the backside of the ball, and all of his brains go whoosh out the back.
That would have been a cool effect to shoot in reverse, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then one other thing that I had on here, or it didn't end up on here, but I read was that the spheres flying down the hallways was filmed using baseball pitchers.
Oh.
Actual baseball pitchers were pitching the balls down the corridors. And that's how they got images of them flying.
That's cool.
Which is really cool considering at that time, 40 years ago, it was all practical effects. So to have done it any other way, you would have had like a ball on a string or a stick, and then, you know.
Yeah, which would have been a whole hassle.
And so for anybody, any of you who have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's a phenomenal movie, really good.
Maybe we'll have to watch it.
We will have to watch it. It is on our list.
As many other things
we have a big list.
Yeah. As I said, I don't watch movies. Not very often, at least. I've seen, you know, my fair share, but like not nearly as much as T has.
Yeah, I know. There's a pretty small list of those who have.
yeah, for sure. Sure.
Man. So, what do you got for us today?
Flying balls. Okay.
Yeah, flying balls.
No, I don't have flying balls. But so what I have for you today is something not so outside of the realm of possibility.
Okay.
I like to, if you've seen, you know, any other episodes with me on, I'm very much a realism person. So things connected to realism is what really intrigues me. This is a story that I actually listened to being read 6 years ago.
Okay.
And according to the Reddit post, because I actually found it, it's Reddit/no sleep by user always_through. This was posted 8 years ago, so I had seen it 2 years into its existence. And it's talking about OCD, which I know a lot of people are affected by, but it does it in a really creative way. So the story is called Symmetry, and it says that there's graphic violence, and I think that's an understatement. So as the story goes, it says, I love symmetry. I'm not sure exactly why, but I've loved it ever since I was a kid. Most children are messy and forgetful of their things. Not me. I knew everything has a place, and in my room, everything was right where it belonged. My parents didn't have it. My grandparents didn't have it either. Not a single person in my family had it. I've started referring to it as it because I truly believe it's a thing inside of me, a stowaway that shouldn't be there but lives inside me. It's a need, a desire, a longing to be perfect on both sides. As an adult, I'm at the point where I can't live my life normally. I can't keep a job. Women don't stay with me because they can't handle it. Honestly, I don't care when they leave. They're messy and make things difficult. They roll over to my side of the bed instead of staying on their own. They leave dishes in one side of the sink but not in the other. I can't anymore. So when they leave for the day, I have to stay home and fix everything. It's a relief when they leave for good. That feeling never lasts, though. Eventually it comes back and finds something else that needs fixing. You may be asking, why would I seek out relationships to begin with if I can't stand them? Well, hard for me to sleep in the middle of the bed all night without moving. Other than the relationship problem, my life is pretty much in order. I say pretty much because there's one last issue that must be dealt with. You see, I have what's called heterochromia iridium, or 2 different colored irises. My right eye was cornflower blue, my left a pale green. Both my parents have cornflower blue eyes, my siblings and cousins as well. My green eye is the broken one. It makes me unbalanced. Every time I look at myself in the mirror, it stares right back at me. It's all I think about now. Everything is in its right place except my green little mistake. It didn't hurt at first when I dug the spoon under my eye. It didn't even hurt when it popped out and was hanging by my cheek. Was it a shock that was keeping the pain away? Or was it it? I snipped the optic nerve and blotted the warm fluids that were streaming down my face. My vision being cut in half was a strange sensation. What was left of the dangling flesh I placed back in the now empty hole. I bandaged the wound, rinsed the spoon, and went to sleep. I woke happy. I slept better than I had in years. It was finally done. I had flipped the switch in the bathroom, and the light was blinding. I slowly removed the bandage that was soaked with blood and was sticking to my face like tape. When I looked up to the mirror, my stomach turned. Only then had I realized what I'd done to myself, and I couldn't believe it. There was a hole on the left side of my face, but not the right. I was unbalanced. Again. It was much harder digging out the second eye. My hands were shaky, and when I dug the spoon in, I missed several times, puncturing my pupil 3 times before I got it in the right place. Once the eye popped out, I reached for my scissors to finish the job. The blood from the previous night had dried on the blades, so the scissors didn't cut very well. You know when you were a kid in elementary school, and your teacher made you cut construction paper for art projects? Did you ever try to cut too many pieces at once, but the scissors couldn't take it? The blades would kind of fold over each other, and the paper would get pinned in between them. That's what happened with my eye. The optic nerve was pinned between the 2 blades. It was stuck, and as I tried desperately and frantically to make it unstuck, I slipped on the blood and started falling to the floor. Reflexes kicked in, and I let go of my eye to try to break my fall with my hand. The weight of the stuck scissors on my hanging eye was unbearable. I knew, and I couldn't stand it long enough to make it to the kitchen to get a knife. So I pulled it straight out of my head. I felt the flesh tear from inside my skull. I felt it rip and spew liquids everywhere. I knew I was crying, but there was no telling the tears from the blood from the ocular fluid. When I heard the wet slap of bloody flesh against the tile floor, I knew I was done. I knew it was done. I could live my life now without having to see people's awful, messy, uneven lives. The relief washed over me, and I knew it would last this time. I had never felt this way before, never had this much hope. As I laid in my bathroom on that cold, wet, sticky tile, I smiled for the first time in years.
Wow.
Yeah, when I said that graphic violence didn't seem to quite cut it, I meant it.
Wow, that the digging out of the eye, like I could just picture it, you know, as I've seen in horror movies over and over again of that being done. So I could picture it.
And just every description.
Yes, that whoever wrote that, good job.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story.
It's written very, very well. Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
Just it's interesting to me that he would the answer to his problems was to get rid of the eye.
Yeah.
And then it came back.
Came back to bite him.
Yeah.
Because cutting out the green eye wasn't enough, because now he was unbalanced because of, you know, only having one eye.
Yeah. Just wow.
And again, like I said, I like things tied to realism. OCD is a very real thing, usually not to this degree.
That's a
clearly.
big extent, yeah.
But I don't know, just something about it being tied to that realism really makes it hit
Yeah,
home.
that definitely. Wow.
Yeah. It's gritty. It's gritty, but it's good.
That's a good one though.
Yeah.
That's a really good story. I don't think we've ever had one quite like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
I'm enjoying it.
it's really good. It's really good. And I mean, I hope that our listeners feel the same way. But it's a really good like choreographed story. Everything from like the actions to the descriptions he gave as to the pain.
Yeah,
and,
you could really like put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
And the way it's all described in the story, you could really imagine yourself there.
Yeah, and it's a fairly short story too. It's not like something that's super long. You're not reading a book about it. It's literally just a short story that somebody read.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was 8 years ago, written by Reddit user always_through. So yeah, I think they did a fantastic job.
Nice. So I have 3 stories for you.
Dang.
3 short stories.
Okay.
That's why I did 3, because they're short. All of which are allegedly true.
Okay.
One of them actually has quite the history to it. And if I had included everything, we'd be at like a 3-hour episode. Like, there's a lot to it.
Okay.
So I had to cut it down and condense the story for the sake of our time constraints of not needing a 3-hour episode.
Yeah. I don't know who would sit down and listen to us for 3 hours.
And I probably could have had it just as one story and had it longer, because there's a lot that happens. But I figured if people are really intrigued, they could check it out themselves.
Yeah, I like that. Leave a little bit of mystery to it.
Yeah. So, for my first story, we're going to be talking about the Peyton Randolph House. Over 24 people have died in or around the Peyton Randolph House since it was built in 1715. And many of the spirits have remained to haunt the house. The Randolph House is one of the most haunted houses in the U.S. It was built in 1715 and purchased by Sir John Randolph. After his death, the home was willed to his son Peyton Randolph. Peyton was one of the founding fathers and served as president of the First and Second Continental Congress and was cousin to Thomas Jefferson. The earliest report from a written account was by the Marquis de Lafayette in 1824. He went on a grand tour through the states to speak with veterans of the war. While staying at the Peyton Randolph House in October 1824, Lafayette wrote, "I consider myself fortunate to lodge in the home of a great man, Peyton Randolph. Upon my arrival, as I entered through the foyer, I felt a hand on my shoulder. It nudged me as if intending to keep me from entering. I quickly turned around, but no one was there. The nights were not restful, as the sounds of voices kept me awake for most of the stay." The next story I have is of a local security guard when he found himself in the Peyton Randolph house's basement, the entire house filled with a loud, otherworldly roar. He tried to run, but some invisible presence gripped him by the ankles, anchoring him to the ground. The guard desperately radioed for help. When 10 minutes later arrived, the officers found the door was wedged closed and had to force it open, immediately releasing the original guard from his trap.
Dang.
Weird, you'd like the second one, security guard and all.
Wow. What are you trying to say? You know nothing of my occupation. That's pretty crazy.
That's just 2 of like tons and tons of stories.
Were you about to say hundreds?
I almost said hundreds, but I stopped for fear of not necessarily being hundreds.
Yeah. Would you say that there's a lot of stories on this house?
Yes, there's a lot.
Would you say that we need to go visit this house?
I would love to go visit this house.
We do like the spoopy.
We do.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, and I thought, more realistic. I mean, as realistic as ghosts can get.
Yeah.
Until there's proof and everybody believes in them, because not everybody does.
Wow. Know anybody that doesn't?
I happen to know one or two.
Just one or two, huh?
Each to their own, though.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Of course. I never try to rag on people who, believe in that stuff. You'd be surprised how often I'm the one that gets ragged on, actually.
Which is weird, because it's just, it's each their own, and like we've talked in the past, sometimes it takes actually experiencing it to fully believe in it, But I like to think of it as like religion. I know we don't normally talk about religion here, and I'm not trying to start any arguments or anything, but with religion, people wholeheartedly believe in their deity, whether it's God or whoever, depending on your religion.
Yeah, and there's many out there.
Without actually physically seeing him.
Right. But it's like a presence, a feeling.
But it's very interesting to me that a lot of people will believe in that.
Right.
But they will totally disregard anything else because they can't see or touch it. And I'm like,
yeah, it's hard. I'm pretty sure I once had my belief system, not talking about like religion and stuff, my belief system in like ghosts and the mythological, that sort of thing. I'm pretty sure I've had that described to me as like similar to attacking somebody for their religion. I was basically told that the fact that I was telling them that I didn't think that they saw ghosts was the same as telling them that they're not allowed to believe in religion. And I'm like, I don't think those things are connected. You need to kind of you need to settle down. You need to settle down.
And there are those who will say that they've seen things for the attention.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I'm not saying that's the case with everybody. I'm not going to cast judgment one way or the other.
Right. But that's a huge worry of mine, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I hear people talk about ghosts and stuff, like, experiences they've had and stuff like that. And it does make me question how much of it is for the fame, for, like, because really that stuff does get people's attention.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And that's why, like we've talked about our hotel experience in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But that's why when we go, we don't intentionally stay at places that advertise they're haunted.
Yeah.
Because I want a good night's sleep, really.
Yeah. It comes down to, please let me get at least 8 hours or something. Like
I would even settle for a solid 6.
Yeah. Well, especially when you're sightseeing and stuff like that, you might want to take some of your extra time to go, see other things. The more time you're awake, the more stuff you go.
Yeah, and in New Orleans, there's a lot to see. A lot of rich history there.
Yeah.
So,
especially with Mardi Gras and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
And so, I'm going to apologize in advance, though. My third story does not have pictures. My second story has pictures, but not my third.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they're not like really long. They're
short. Yeah. I get you.
All right. Well, we're going to be talking about the Cracking Man. While flipping a house with some friends in a suburb of Chicago, a woman stumbled across a clown doll wrapped in a crude painting of itself in the basement. She took it home and immediately started losing sleep. Additionally, she'd hear intermittent popping all over her home throughout the day. One night, she awoke to a man standing by her bed. As she recoiled in shock and fear, so too did the unknown man. She described his arms as twisted unnaturally, and as he drew back, she heard the familiar popping noises echoing through his body. It was as if his bones and ligaments were causing the noise. Afterward, she promptly gave the doll, which she believed manifested the man by her bed, to the museum. Dana and Greg do not keep the cracking man in their own home because they, too, hear the popping.
My knees pop when I stand up.
Yeah.
Am I too a clown?
But very interesting, very short. Again, there is much more to that story if you really want to dig into it. But yeah. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I kind of like these short, sweet, like poppy.
Yeah.
It's like down to the nitty gritty and
carrying the pops all over the house.
Yeah.
Popping. That's so weird. That she would just hear popping in the middle of the night.
Well, and then his arms were all like unnaturally like twisted and stuff. Yeah. Like, it just the sound of them moving sounded like the same popping she heard.
Kind of gives me like Crooked Man type vibes.
Yeah. That's what I liked about it. Kind of Crooked Man kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Which he's getting a movie finally.
Good. That was
the test footage I've seen, or the footage I've seen. I didn't like the way he looked.
Oh no!
Yeah,
they didn't go with the similar style to the Conjuring movies,
and it's off of the Conjuring universe. It's all part of it. This movie,
but he looks different.
Same but different.
Okay.
So in the Conjuring movies, everybody, I'm gonna assume at this point everybody's seen Conjuring 2. If you haven't, what are you doing with your...
Yeah, go watch it. It's a fantastic movie.
You know, his eyes are in his hat.
Yeah.
So you got, the mouth and his eyes are in the hat.
Yeah.
What I saw, his eyes are down where they normally would be. So to me, that takes away from that character, because that was part of, to me, what creeped me out a little bit about
that. Yeah, because it's a blank face with just that big, wide smile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
They changed that. I don't like that.
Okay.
And maybe it will be explained. I don't know.
Hopefully. That would be really cool.
So I have one more for you.
Okay.
If you're ready. It's the shortest story yet. And it's more of like a description, I guess, than anything at this point.
Sure.
The Dark Mirror. The world's only mobile museum of the unexplained holds this mysterious reflector, which seems to literally take on a life of its own. The museum obtained it from the original owner who purchased it while attending a psychic fair in the Columbus area. That same owner said that they were struck with very upsetting visions when gazed into the scrying mirror's dark reflection. According to the museum, visitors also claim to have also reported uncomfortable sightings, such as their own corpse when gazing into the reflection of the dark mirror.
The Dark Mirror.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, not cool to look into, apparently.
Right. And we haven't really done much with mirrors on here, so well,
my story had a mirror.
Yours did, but I meant before that.
Yeah, I get you. Dark Mirror, interesting. Kind of like the Disney prospect of the magic mirror.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, mirror, mirror on the wall, show me my corpse.
Best of all.
That's interesting though.
And again, there's a lot more to it, but I just, for the sake of...
And this is presumably a real thing?
Yes. There's a mobile museum that has it.
Okay.
They travel around and people go see it and stuff, and people look into it.
So...
See different things. So another bucket list trip item.
Wait, so we need to obtain the original Annabelle as well.
We need, she is locked away.
Go unlock her.
You can't get into the house anymore.
Right.
Which is sad.
That.
Sad. Used to be a museum of all kinds of haunted things, and the house is still there. The items are still there, but the city has since shut it down.
You know, that's another one of the things. I know we've talked about. You know, the family and everything surrounding that, and I don't believe it. Which, you know, this shouldn't be a shock at this point.
Yeah, well,
pretty much anything that comes up on the podcast, I probably don't believe. Which is why it would be such a fun thing to go see, right? Because like maybe that's the thing, right?
The biggest one that you can go see is Robert the Doll.
Okay, what does Rupert do?
I don't remember everything about him. Give me if I.
Okay.
But one thing is, so he's in this museum. He's in a display case. You were supposed to ask him for permission prior to taking his picture. If not, a string of bad luck will follow you until you delete the picture and get rid of it and say you're sorry.
And say you're sorry. Doll.
Yes. Because of the evil spirit that was.
I want to go take this.
In fact, at one point in time, I believe in our first season, we actually talk about Robert the Doll. He was brought up as a topic in one of our episodes.
That's insane. I want to take this guy's picture.
Yeah,
and I don't want to ask permission.
Right? I want to see. I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
I want to do like a vlog of the whole day whole day leading up to it. You know, breakfast, whatever. Normal day, go do the picture thing with him, don't ask, and then just continue to record the events of the day that unfold and see what happens.
See, because also I'm hearing this, right? You take the doll's picture without permission. It says a string of bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
A string of bad luck, to me, doesn't spread. That's not death.
No, but it can result in death.
It could result in death, but like my point, right, is like, this feels like it has less. You have less to lose here.
Well, I think if I remember right, and like I said, it's been a while since I read the story, but it starts out with like little things, and it progressively gets worse until you either A, die, or B, get rid of the pictures and say you're sorry.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one to test our luck on.
I wouldn't want to go all the way to the end.
my third car crash in the day and I'm done.
I'm going with one car crash in the day and I'm done, you know.
Yeah.
Like, all right, okay.
I mean, statistically, you and I have done pretty good when it comes to car crashes. So
I don't want to push luck though.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me, those little things, and I want to go see those things.
Yeah.
Lack of better words, play with those things.
Right. Just test your luck.
I want to
push buttons.
I want to see. I want to see for myself.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's funny because we share that ideal, but for two completely different reasons.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way completely different reasons, but
but yeah, same. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because I do believe in those things, but with some I am slightly reserved. Well, because I'm like, how much
is too much?
Is true.
Okay.
Like, I believe that some of it, and in a lot of the stories, I believe that there's a fraction of it that is true.
Typically, lies in general always have some sort of truth
sprinkled in.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to these haunted objects, haunted places, cryptids, I believe that there's some truth to it. It's to what degree of truth.
Yeah.
You know, like Bigfoot.
Big one.
Yeah, he's got some big feet.
Yeah.
Across the world, he's called different things in different cultures, but he's across the world.
Yeah. Worldwide.
How can that be? You know,
Well, he gets on boats.
When you look at when these stories would come out way back when,
yeah,
80s, 60s,
a lot
70s, the internet wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So somebody across seas hearing about it and be like, yeah, I'm gonna make that up. You know?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that sounds like stories that come out today. I'm like, okay, the internet, you know.
Similar to the Loch Ness monster.
Yes.
If you didn't know, has been explained in most situations as a whale's penis. So if you didn't know, for those watching, whales actually sunbathe their stomachs. Don't know what's below their stomach.
You shouldn't be watching us.
It's their penis. So when they flip over to sunbathe, the penis also sticks out. So those pictures that you see of like the body and then what looks to be a neck and a head, that's their penis. That's their penis, and then that's their belly sticking out of the water. Again, this has been explained through science as a thing that happens and that people have taken a picture of and mistaken for the Loch Ness monster, but that does not mean that every picture of the Loch Ness monster...
Are there whales in the Loch Ness? I don't believe so.
You know, I don't know what kind of body
not whales
water...
in Lake Champlain because... So...
But how easy is it? I could go out right now. We have a lake pretty close to us. I could go out right now, take a picture of that lake, insert an image, and be like,
nowadays,
this is the Loch Ness.
yes. But that comes back to like what I was saying.
Okay.
Back in the 80s, that technology really wasn't there, and people were still getting pictures of it.
So here's my other ploy. You get on a boat, you go out to the ocean, get a picture of, oh my god, that's the Loch Ness monster. You know that the Loch Ness monster is a thing. You know where that takes place, is the Loch Ness. And then you know that you're in the ocean. So that couldn't be the same thing, right? But people come back and they go, look at this picture I took in the Loch Ness. It's easy enough to say that I took a picture here.
I get that. But
there was no...
But if you're in that location,
right,
like the ocean, like they're just water.
Sure, yeah.
Water. Yeah.
Water.
Unless you're close to land.
Some fish.
Yeah,
mostly water.
I think they're made up. I think they're all CG'd.
Yeah, CG fish.
CG fish.
Yeah, none actually exist.
They're not really a thing. They're robotic and
Robo-fish.
CG. But I mean, in the Loch Ness or even Lake Champlain is in Vermont. I've actually been there.
Haven't.
You got trees and everything on the side,
right?
That, you know, some people have taken, and you can see. Oops, I'm getting all excited here. You can see the beach, you can see the lakefront and everything, and then you can see the Loch Ness out there. You can't fake that if you're out in the ocean and you take that picture and do that. I mean, nowadays, yes, but back then, when that technology really wasn't there, I'm still not saying that it's.
How many of these Loch Ness pictures have trees around them?
The ones from Lake Champlain do.
And Lake Champlain, is it a tourist attraction?
It is now, but at the time it was not. It became one through people telling the stories of the Champlain one.
Yep. And
but that doesn't necessarily happen though. Just because the stories are there does not become a tourist attraction. I mean, there are other things there, but I'm just saying, for instance, our lake has a story of a lake monster.
Have you ever had a scratch ticket?
Once or twice.
Have you scratched it hoping to win the lottery?
No, actually, I just do it for fun because the odds of winning is slim to none.
Okay, well, you are a rare species. Most people buy scratch tickets in the hopes of winning some sort of money.
Yeah, they hope to win it big, yeah.
So this is where my disbelief in a lot of things comes from, is because people are stupid enough to buy scratch tickets, scratch them in hopes to win,
All right.
Why would somebody not fake a picture in hopes to make money off of said picture?
And there are fakes out there. I'm not going to say there's not. I'm just saying...
It just worries me.
I'm just saying that the explanation that it's a whale sunbathing doesn't necessarily work in a lake.
It doesn't work in a lake. You're right. But...
And I don't believe the Loch Ness is open to the ocean. I could be wrong. I don't know.
In like Scotland.
It is, yeah.
I've never been to Scotland.
But I don't know if it's linked to the ocean or not to say it is or isn't possible there. But I know in a lake it's not.
Well, you know.
And I'm not saying that people didn't hear about the Loch Ness and like faked some of it there in Lake Champlain.
Right.
I'm just saying that a whale sunbathing isn't always going to be applicable for that explanation of the Loch Ness Monster. Maybe in Loch Ness it might be. I don't know. Like I said, that if it is or isn't open to the ocean.
Yeah, I also don't.
That part I don't know. But in a lake, that explanation doesn't work. You know, they have people that go and they can look at these photos and look and see if they've been altered. You know, there's scientists out there that can look at that stuff.
When you're going back years and years and years, you can. I mean, yeah, on new technology, there's a trace. There's always a trace.
Yeah.
Of like the original photo and stuff like that.
Like there's people that look at the old photos though and like look at basically the surroundings of the object or whatever and see if it like casts a shadow. If it's in water, does the water show that the object is really there? You know, kind of like the poor CG fucking alligator.
There's a huge conspiracy theory revolving around shadows.
Yes, there is. I know of this one.
Yeah, that's a much longer conversation for another episode.
Ethics and I have had quite a few conversations about that, shadows.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And he's on one side of the fence, I'm on the other side.
We're not going to go into detail, but just in case you're curious and you don't know what we're talking about, it's the moon landing.
That never happened.
That may or may not have happened. It boils down to the same thing. People lie.
Right. Well, and that's why I'm on the other side of the fence of it. Because there was this big race going on. The space race.
Thought we weren't.
Well, you fucking opened the can of worms.
Okay.
The big space race. And we had to be the first ones there. Right?
Yeah.
Because America, number one. Like,
America.
Fucking so stupid bullshit. Why we can't all fucking get along by now is beyond me. But we had to beat everybody else, the Russians and everybody else, to the moon. It's the big space race.
Right.
Well, what a greater way to fake it. It's not like somebody could just be idly driving by and see you like on the moon to prove that you weren't there, you know?
Yeah,
like
it's true. It's true.
So I just don't buy it.
Okay.
I know that there's a lot of stuff and a lot of people that say otherwise, but
you don't buy that. I don't buy other things.
Exactly. You know, we
got beliefs.
And the fact that, you know, yes, these high scientists have looked at it and said, no, you can tell by the shadows and this.
They could be paid off.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point that I've been saying this whole time. They could be paid off to say this shit. They could be told, look, we'll murder your whole fucking family if you don't say what we want you to say about the moon landing being real.
Yeah. So
kind of thing.
You know, within the same vein, right? I could walk up to you and be like, hey, can I have a small loan of $5,000? You're going to say no.
Yeah. No.
$5,000 is a lot of fucking money.
Fuck yeah,
I'm just going to hand that to somebody.
Yeah.
And then I walk up to you with a gun and say, give me $5,000. Well, now you're more inclined to give it to me.
Well, now I'm still going to say I don't have $5,000, but I'll give you what I got in my fucking wallet.
Right. But that's my point, right? Is like you up the stakes for somebody and they're more willing to do what you want them to do. So you might walk up to a scientist and be like, hey, is this photo real? They'll look at it and go, no, this is fake as fuck. And then you go, what if I gave you $1 million to say that it's real? Then they might be like, that is the realest photo I have ever seen.
And we'll put you in charge of whatever project you want.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, let's pull some strings. What do you want to research? Beanie Babies? All right.
Here
you go, man.
Research squad.
How many people you want? Like, all you got to do is just say this is real.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
just say this is
your
real.
whole panel of scientists that are going to be on your Beanie Baby research team are all going to say the same thing, that this is real.
Yeah.
And you guys don't even have to produce any work from your Beanie Baby research team. You don't even have to show up. You don't even need an office. We'll pay you just to fucking stay at home.
Stay home. Yeah.
Like, you just have to say this is real.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put it past any government or any big agency that has that kind of money to do that.
Yeah.
It's a trust thing.
The real question to the viewers out there, are we real?
Or are we CG dinosaurs?
We might be CG dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, we're actually dinosaurs, but we're CG to look like everybody else. As to throw off the suspicion that dinosaurs are still real and out there.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. I identify as Velociraptor.
I identify as the best dinosaur name ever, the Diplodocus. I have a weird obsession with that name. It's the silliest dinosaur name I can
really
think of.
It's like a 5-year-old named the dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's a Diplodocus.
Okay, son. Whatever you say.
Oh,
all right.
Man.
On that note.
All right. Well, with conspiracy theories out there.
Yep.
Favorite dinosaur names out there.
You should, in the comments, tell us both of those things. Tell us your favorite dinosaur name.
Yes,
also, tell us your favorite
I
conspiracy theory.
Yeah, because as adults, we don't get asked that often enough. Like, what's your favorite dinosaur?
True.
You give it older than like 8 or 9, and people stop caring what your favorite dinosaur is.
Yeah.
I care.
And honestly, I would care more about your favorite dinosaur than your favorite color. Who the fuck cares what your favorite color is?
I don't fucking care. I can tell what your favorite color is because you're probably wearing it on your shirt. If people consistently wear the same color shirt, odds are that's their favorite color.
Yeah, probably.
But your favorite dinosaur? I mean,
come on,
there's
man.
so many.
There is a lot of dinosaurs.
There is. So I want to know, what's your favorite dinosaur? Why is it your favorite dinosaur?
Yeah, that's great.
And would you have it as a pet or your best friend?
Or a Pokemon.
Yes, or a Pokemon.
Enslave it to battle other people's dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah. Be great.
So, all right. Well, like us, follow us, subscribe on YouTube, whatever.
Whatever tickles your fancy.
Yeah. Please keep it coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And
see you next time.
till next time. See you fuckers.